Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the San Diego Comic-Con 2014 exclusive 30th Anniversary TMNT Raphael. That's right, Playmates Toys is celebrating the 30th anniversary of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with an exclusive Raphael action figure, based on his appearance in the original comic books by Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman. So let's go ahead and take a look at this upcoming exclusive action figure. As you can see, he comes in fully enclosed box packaging, featuring some really cool artwork of Raphael as he appeared jumping off the roof from the cover of the original issue of the Ninja Turtles comic book. It's got this really cool kind of green splatter design to it, and it's even got a TMNT 30th Anniversary logo embossed with silver. Flipping that box over to the back side, we get a bio on Raphael. Opening up the box, there's just a plastic tray that houses our action figure along with his display base. Just like in previous years, this particular action figure comes with a sewer lid display base featuring the character's name and just done in a solid black color. And then we come to the action figure itself. The figure is styled after the original comic books. This, of course, being before the original cartoon series and the toy line that came out in the late 80s. The entire figure is a brand new sculpt, and it's done in this really cool black and white motif since that's how the original comic books were. You'll notice he's got all kinds of really cool black shading lines and everything all over the figure to kind of mimic the way the comic books were drawn. One thing to note about all of those line shadings is that it's not just black paint. All of those little lines are actually etched into the sculpt, so they're part of the overall sculpt of the figure. It's not just black that's slapped on a white plastic figure. I thought that was kind of cool because it adds a little bit more depth to the overall look of the character. The overall sculpt of the figure is actually really nicely done as well. You'll notice that the overall design of the figure is slightly different than some of the different renditions we've seen of the characters. The shape of the head, the overall shape of the body, the way the legs are a little bit bigger down towards the feet, and he's got a tail. That's one thing that we haven't seen on pretty much any of the other versions of the TMNT past the original comic book incarnations. So let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation on this guy. The head's on a ball joint, so it can rotate left and right, rock all the way around there. You got the nice ball joints at the shoulder, so the arms can go outwards, move forwards and backwards. You've got swivels at the elbow, as well as a standard elbow bend. However, there's nothing in the wrists, so the hands are static with the forearms. You've got the hinge joints at the thigh, so the legs can go outwards, move forwards and backwards. You've got the same swivels in the knees as we saw with the elbows, as well as a standard knee bend, but again, nothing in the ankles. So it is a decent amount of articulation. The biggest downfall is the lack of wrist swivels. Because we can't really swivel the hands around, it will lead to some awkward poses, especially when we get the sai put in his hands. So speaking of which, he does include his signature weapon, the pair of sais. Now these are also brand new sculpts, so they're styled to look a little bit more like they appeared in the comics, and they're done in that same black and white motif. Mostly they're just white with little kind of black strings painted around the handles and a bit of black washing on there. They fit nicely in either hands, and you can have them holding them upright or upside down. However, the blades are a little too thick to get that between the fingers pose that I always like to do with Raphael. Now you'll notice that when we've got those sais in his hands, it does get a little awkward sometimes since you can't swivel his wrists. Since his wrists are static along with the forearms, we were pretty much stuck with the way that the arms are sculpted in the way that he can hold on to his sais. Alright guys, it's comparison time. Here's a look at the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Raphael alongside the NECA Toys version of Raphael, also inspired by the original comic books. Now those NECA Turtles are, to date, my favorite renditions of the Turtles in action figure form. And here you can see the two side by side to see that there are differences in the sculpts and the scale of the two figures. Now NECA also did black and white versions of the same sculpts, and while mine are mint in box still, you can still get a look at them kind of side by side with this new figure here to get an idea of just how different they are. And of course, let's go ahead and get a look at this new Raphael standing alongside a few different versions of Raphael in action figure form, just so you can see the scale and style difference between all the different versions. So there you go, guys. There's a look at the upcoming San Diego Comic-Con 2014 exclusive 30th Anniversary Raphael. Overall, this is a really nicely done action figure. I think the sculpt is really good and does a pretty great job of capturing the look of the turtles as they appeared in the original comic books. And the black and white motif is pretty cool looking, actually. The way that they sculpted all that line work instead of just using paint and blackwash definitely helps in my opinion. Now, I compare these to the NECA Toys versions because those are probably the ultimate versions of turtles, at least based on their comic book appearances. And this one doesn't quite hold up to what those had to offer, but with those becoming a lot more scarce and very expensive, it's cool to know that we've got another way to purchase a comic book version of Raphael. I only hope that the other turtles are to follow. I don't know if Playmates has plans to do more comic book based turtles, but it is a little strange only having one out of the 4 team members. I don't know, maybe we'll get full color versions hitting retail stores. I guess time will tell. But until then, this version of Raphael will be sold exclusively at the Nickelodeon booth at the 2014 San Diego Comic-Con. So happy hunting, my friends, and until next time.
Oh.